welcome back to our channel. It's Gemma here today with a Sims 3 speed build. Today I'm building a traditional houseboat in Isle of Paradiso, and this is the first of two parts to this build as it was quite lengthy. I chose a long thin houseboat plot because it looks like a boat. I think the square plots are quite silly really and makes it quite difficult to build a houseboat that actually looks like a houseboat. So I went for the long thin one, and I did change the colour to a slightly deeper sort of sky blue colour, which I really liked. So here I'm just getting the basic shape of the boat set out. I wanted a little porch on the front, and I also wanted to have a walkway around the edge as you would have this in an actual boat. It has reduced the space that's inside the houseboat, but I think that has helped to keep it looking like it is a boat that's been converted into a house. So next I tried to work on the outside colour. I went for a plain white, which I did really like, but I've since discovered there is actually some metal textures that might have been slightly better for what I was doing. But I do like the white with the blue. I think it's a really nice fresh look. And I continue that theme throughout, as you'll see in a moment. Did the inside plain white as well. And here I am trying to get the upstairs right. This took a little bit of time to get it how I wanted to keep the boat shape, and also I wanted a couple of balconies, so I was trying to work out how to do those. Had a lot of problems with the stairs as well. I initially put them here and then carried on building upstairs and wasn't happy with how it was going, and ended up faffing around for ages trying to move them, which you'll see a bit later on. I really like symmetry, and I wanted to put double doors to the front of the boat, which you'll see in a moment, and they took up 2 out of the 4 squares, so I put them bang in the middle and then realised that the stairs were in the way, so that's why I had to move them. But we'll see more of that in a moment. I'm just fiddling about with the bits out of the front, moving them and not really moving them very fast. I don't know what that was about. Changed the colour of the decking to a richer brown. Still floorboards, so it still looks like a boat, but just a bit darker. I don't really like that sort of yellowy orangey tone to wood on The Sims and in real life as well. Trying to work on a little balcony bit at the front here, and I was having real problems with this because the floor wouldn't extend out, and I thought it should be able to extend out just as it was, and it wasn't. So I was trying to put columns in, and I couldn't put the columns on the front of the boat. You can't build anything there. So I put the move objects on cheat on the first time I've ever used it, to see if that would help, and it still didn't. You cannot build on that front bit of the boat. So I'm put a door in there, and then going back to the upstairs. Sometimes if I'm struggling with a section, I'll sort of stop, go on to something else, and then I'll come back to that bit, by which time I've usually got some better ideas of what I'm doing. So again, trying to move these stairs. Wanted a bit more space upstairs as well for a bedroom, so I'm just putting a bed in there to see if it's going to fit, and I've got enough space for like a chest of drawers as well. But I do swap this around in a moment when I'm struggling with the stairs. But you can see I've got 2 balconies starting to form, one at the front, which is where the driving mechanism for the boat is going to be. I thought that was quite a good position to get a nice viewpoint from there. And then I put a balcony on at the back as well. There's like a little bit of a sort of an outside garden type space. So just choosing some fencing that I think looks like it would be on a boat. I'm quite happy with this white sort of metal one. And then finally accepted there that I couldn't make the balcony any bigger than it was. So I deleted those floor tiles. And putting the little balcony on the back using the same fence, because that works nicely. And I like a bit of continuity. Decided to put some around the outside as sort of a safety feature, in case you were walking along that edge and were feeling a bit wobbly or a bit tipsy. I think that does add to the overall look as well. Okay, on to windows next. And to begin with, I did want to use those ones that look like they've sort of got a little balcony on them, but decided not to, and then thought, oh, I'll move on to the door. So this is a door I went with. I really like this door. I thought it looked quite like a boat door. Just changing it to a blue. I don't know what was going on there. I changed it to quite a sort of a bright, bold blue that's sort of Greek themed. I think it's quite traditional in Greece to have white buildings with a bright sort of blue accent to the windows and the doors. So that's the look I've gone for, which I really, really like. It's really fresh and bright and sort of a summery feeling. So I was happy with those doors. Then needed to put the front door in. I wasn't happy with the one I chose. And again, I do colour this the same blue. I do like to match everything. You'll notice that if you watch a lot of my builds, I'll match exact colours or tones of the same colour, which not everyone likes, but personally I like to do it. If you watch Deli Grissy, she doesn't match anything at all in her builds. But she's got a very, very good style. Okay, so moving on to windows. These were the most boat-like ones, so I went with these. Are they called portholes? I think they're called portholes in a boat. So I put those everywhere, and I colour those blue in a moment as well to match, because I do like to match. Yeah, so I'll pick up the colour that I've used on the doors and drag that over to the window, and then I'm just going to copy that window. It's the easiest way to get your colours matching. You'll notice I use a bit of symmetry here as well. It did end up being quite bright actually inside, just with those small windows. Making sure I get them to line up exactly on each side of the boat. And then I need to put some upstairs as well. And I think it's taken shape quite well. I think it does look like a boat, which was the aim, so. I decided to put some bigger windows at the end. I think I stick with these and just recolour them. I think they do work with the other windows and the boat theme. But they did cause me some trouble when I come onto the kitchen, which you'll see either at the end of this episode or the next one. So yeah, pretty happy with how it's looking. Just needed to change the roof, so I went for this metal one, which I thought would be what you'd have on a boat if you were going to put a roof on it like that. So yes, that's the basic shape that you can see now. I'm pretty pleased with it. This is my first ever houseboat that I've built, so I think for a first attempt I've done pretty well. Just putting the roof over the front balcony as well, because you might be driving the boat in all weather, so need a bit of cover there. Just trying to save it there, and then realised I couldn't without going back out into the town view. So fingers crossed the game doesn't crash. Okay, I think I'm coming back to the stairs now, because they were blocking the doorway there, so I knew I had to move them. But I find the stairs in The Sims 3 so difficult to position. That's a real bugbear of mine with this game. I've spent ages trying to get stairs in the position that I want them to be in, and usually fail. So I was trying to put it up to set it from upstairs, but that just was not working. But I can't, for some reason it's not letting me place anywhere in that space where I want it to go. So I thought if I move the door maybe it'll go in and I can put the door back in, but Still, it's not letting me. Still determined to put it in that spot. But then I couldn't have my door symmetrical, so they had to go, unfortunately. So trying all different places to get them to go, and there was not very many options for where I could place them. So yeah, I'm limited basically to this side of the boat, so that's where they end up. So basically I'll just end up swapping it round, so the stairwell area is at the other end, and then the bedroom's going to be towards the front. So it didn't affect things massively, but it was incredibly frustrating as I was trying to build it. Just putting the bathroom in now. Had to be a pretty small one, as we're very limited on space. So that bit that I was going to use as a porch actually turned out to be quite handy. Decided to put a half wall in for the kitchen, as it's a small space. I didn't want to divide it up too much with a full wall, so I went for the half wall, which I think is quite nice. Decided I needed some windows for the bathroom, and another window for out the front, and I don't use a round one this time. Yeah, I decided to go for this big sort of curved edge window, as I felt that was quite sort of boat-like as well, and it gives you a nice bright entranceway, which I like. Just looking for some tiles for the bathroom now. I quite like the ones that are supposed to be used for the pool edges. I like those ones. So I went for a yellow and blue in there. Alright, now onto the kitchen. I had real problems with this as well, because I wanted to go for a stainless steel sort of look to it, like an industrial kitchen. So I thought that would sort of suit a boat. But yeah, I was really struggling with the texture on it. And in the end I just give up and keep it as it is, which isn't ideal, as you'll see in a moment. But I think I'd been building for about an hour at this point, and I was starting to get worn out with it. So I tried out some other textures first, sort of like a granite worktop and tiles and things like that, and they all looked rubbish. So I go back to the chrome, and as you can see there's quite a bad flare coming off that. But I decided to stick with it, as I couldn't find anything else that sort of really worked with it. I suppose I could have gone for a wood kitchen, that might have looked quite nice. But yeah, the problem I had here was those long windows. I didn't really want to block them off, because visually that doesn't really look very nice, but I was limited on space and couldn't really figure out what else to do, so I had to cut across it at some points. It's a pretty small kitchen, but it's definitely functional. Yeah, you can see it doesn't look great having those worktops cutting across the window. Oh, I was trying again to get a different worktop that wouldn't have that flare on it. But then I thought I can't really go for blue again, because there's quite a lot of blue already in this build. And a blue fridge. So yeah, pretty limited with what I could do with this kitchen. I mean, it's okay. It's not the best kitchen I've ever built, but it can be difficult when you've got really limited space. So next I'm trying to find a sofa, and again I have quite a lot of trouble with this, so I gave up there and thought I'll move on to the dining table and come back to it later. Wasn't a lot of options for where to place that and to still have space for a sofa, so I tucked it in the corner there, which I think is okay. I mean, you're only going to have 1 or 2 Sims maximum living on this boat, so you've got enough space for them to eat. And I was going to go with blue chairs, and I was like, no Gemma, there's too much blue already on this boat, you need to get a different colour involved. So I decided to introduce yellow, which I think is really nice actually. Very sunny, very beachy, which works for the location of this houseboat. I think I end up going for some blue and yellow stripes if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think that looks really nice actually. Nice and fresh. And blue and yellow do go well together. So yeah, a couple of chairs there. Back to the sofa. And I quite liked this wicker sofa. I thought that would be the sort of thing you might have on a houseboat. So I play around with this for a while, trying to get a colour that I like. I really like these yellow cushions with a sort of floral pattern on and the yellow base, but I don't think I keep this sofa in the end. Was trying to fit 2 sofas in to sort of get sort of like a television area, but the space just isn't big enough for that. So then I tried a small chair. Again, trying to find something that's sort of boat-like, or boat suitable, I should say. But yeah, wherever I placed them, I just felt they sort of weren't quite right. So they're blocking quite a lot of the sort of the walkway through to the kitchen. So I decided to move the sofa over. But then that chair's completely in the way, and it doesn't look right under the stairs. It's really tricky working with such a small space actually. So yeah, I decided to change that sofa. So I think this is the one I go for in the end, and just change the colours on it. Again, going for yellow, nice sort of lemon yellow shade. Had problems here with the TV as well because of my love of symmetry. Ideally, I wanted the TV right in the middle where that gap is between the windows. But if I'd done that, then I had to move the sofa over and it was too near sort of the kitchen area. So I left it there on the wonk. Then I've come to finish off the doors and the rest of the boat. One for the bathroom as well. So yeah, trying to furnish the bathroom now. I was going to pick this all-in-one toilet shower thing, and I thought there's no point putting that in a room, it might as well just be on its own. So I didn't go for that in the end. So I put a shower in because that was all I had room for. And then I just managed to fit in a toilet and a sink, which I'm hoping they can actually use. I haven't actually play tested this one. Then I put some Bidebug lights in, and that's it for this episode. This houseboat is available on the Sims 3 store if you'd like to download it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.